Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday to you all, and welcome to this special PAM Town Hall Forum where we'll be talking all about our 2020 Worship and Music Conference, which has now been moved online. We have a number of guests today who are involved in the planning and who will be faculty at the conference, and we're very excited to tell you to just as much as we can today about this conference and why we're excited about it and what you have to look forward to. First, we're going to begin with a bit of prayer. Uh, so please welcome David Eicher and Joe Smith.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to begin our time together by singing together. God be the love to search and keep me, stanzas 1 and 2. Let this be our prayer.
God be the love to search and keep me, be the friend to prove my voice. God be the strength to know upon me. Oh, Christ, surround me. Oh, Christ, surround me. To myself the name of holy, great cloud of witnesses and apostles, angels witness, oh Christ surround, oh Christ surround me.
Amen. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are so glad you're here. Since mid-March, a team has met regularly to discern how, if, when, and what we would be able to bring you this summer for PAM's Worship and Music Conferences. After hours of conversation, lots of prayers, and listening to many of you share with us your thoughts, feedback, we've decided to move our conferences from in-person to Montreat to a virtual conference June 21st through the 26th. Many factors weighed into this decision, first and at most being your safety. I think we all hoped that by the end of June it would be safe to gather inside Anderson Auditorium, but we just don't know if that will be possible, and as well you know, it changes daily. Next, we had to take into consideration that over 65% of PAM's annual operating budget comes from conference registrations. It became apparent that if PAM does not host an event, it simply will not recover. So, while we celebrate PAM's 50th anniversary this year, it was imperative that if we want to be here for the next 50 years, we need to bring you something this year to sustain us. That led us to consider PAM's newly adopted mission statement that states that we exist because we believe formative and collaborative experiences with God and neighbor nurture relationships and create community. One of our 3 strategic priorities for the coming years is to expand geographic reach through new and innovative offerings. We believe this virtual conference is clearly a way to expand PAM's geographic reach through new and innovative offerings. 50 years ago, PAM was created to offer rich, collaborative worship and the opportunity to work with some of the most gifted, creative leaders in theology, music, and art. In 2020, we need to do the same. Our worship services are different. Our needs change, well, as you know, by the day. And if we can't change together, then we have no business being here for the next 50 years. And we want to be here for all of you for the next 50 years. So we've modified the conference format and offerings, and we are so joyful to be bringing everyone what we believe is what we all need today, right now, in 2020. We've moved worship to the evening because we realize many of you have to work throughout the day. We'll broadcast live as much as possible. We will record everything and make it available to you online. Therefore, if you're not available during the live broadcast, you will be able to watch any of the services, seminars, concerts when you are available by yourself or with your family. Our goal is to continue to provide materials and information to incorporate into your own worship services and programming throughout the next year. We plan to mail out conference books so that we can be present in your own pew in front of your computer monitor or your television. It won't be the same, but nothing's the same right now. We know you want to be at Montreat. We all do. So our plan is to present the conference from Montreat, as long as it is safe and within state and local guidelines. We are partners with Montreat Conference Center. Therefore, we are committed to giving a percentage of each registration back to Montreat so that they may sustain their operations in our absence. Because this conference will be online and not at Montreat, the board has agreed to lower registration rates from its current rates to $175 for adults, members, and for $100 for youth and children. If you've already registered, you're ready to go. We are hopeful that by lowering these rates, we will make it possible for those of you who haven't registered to attend. We have scholarships available if you need assistance. For those of you who have already registered, we hope you will consider donating the difference. Your donation will go to sustain PAM's operations and to offset the expenses we have already incurred for the conference. You will also be able to apply the difference to the 2021 Worship and Music Conferences. In 1970, at the first PAM Worship and Music Conference, there were 11 members serving on conference faculty. So maybe this is God's way of telling us something. Maybe we need to scale it back and make it simple. So we're going to, and we're going to bring it to you in your own homes or maybe your own offices. And we hope everyone will join in and join us because we're excited about making the best lemonade you've ever tasted out of all the lemons we've been given. We're looking at this as an opportunity to draw the circle wider, to bring folks from all around the country to the conference, and to bring the conference to those of you who may not have been able to attend for many years for a myriad of reasons. And while we're all sad to not physically be together, we're looking at this as a gift, a way to gracefully respond to the situation that all of us are living in today. Last week, I spoke to Adele McKee. Adele served as PAM's first president in 1990, and we hoped she could come to the conference, but she's simply not able to. However, now that we've moved to a virtual conference, she will be able to participate, and for that, I am grateful. I invite all of you to join together and lean in to commit to PAM from every time and place with our great cloud of witnesses. Now I want to turn it over to Eric and Rich, and they're going to tell you a little bit more about what's going on at the conference. Eric and Rich.
Hi, friends. I'm Eric Wall. I'm the president-elect of PAM and also the co-director of this summer's newly virtual conference.
And I'm Rich Richards, co-directing alongside Eric for this conference. And we're delighted that you have joined us today for this big announcement during this town hall meeting.
As you know, it's the 50th anniversary, and it's the anniversary of this cloud of witnesses, and here we are in a different kind of cloud, and what a metaphorical convergence that is. We won't all be together physically at Montreat, but what you're probably discovering in your own churches is that we are still the body of Christ, even when we gather in these ways. And this will be the first time in PAM's history that this conference has gathered online.
So the 2020 planning team met over 2 years ago to start the process of planning this conference. The conference we were going to have physically in Montreat. Those people were Chi Chen Wilbrink, Philip Morgan, Meg Kirchhoff, and Tom Granum, and myself. We knew that it was the 50th anniversary and that there were going to be great and wonderful celebrations. And we were trying to find a scripture passage that might illustrate this celebration. And so we found some that had great cloud of witnesses, and all of us unanimously, once that passage was found, we all said that is the one. Now more than ever, this theme does reign true. When selecting the leadership and faculty for this conference, we thought it important for those who've been a part of the leadership in the past 50 years, like Kelly was just talking about, alongside of those folks who had either never been to the conference or folks that have been just a couple times, just a few years. You know, I gave them a visual of the Roman god Janus, which you know, Janus has one face, it's one head, and it's one facing backwards and one facing forwards. And so that was an illustration that I gave the team to really think about in selecting the faculty.
At the at the time of this planning, of course, nobody realized we would be here on this platform, but here we nonetheless are. Over the past few weeks, the PAM staff, the board, the planning team, the worship team, the faculty, the Montreat staff as well, have prayed and envisioned and re-envisioned and Zoomed and planned and prepared for a whole different type of conference, one that we will remember for many years and that we will be glad we did. Together with all of these talented and creative people, we have created an experience that is for all of us, we here and you there. And whether you're a first timer or an every timer or an in-between timer, this conference is your place to be.
So this conference, as unique as it's going to be, has always at Montreat been an intergenerational experience, and we are going to continue that tradition by offering something virtual conference for all ages.
And you'll be hearing shortly from Mary Ebish and Mary Todd Peters about children and youth offerings for the conference. But for the moment, let us share with you a little bit about the adult offerings and what the schedule is going to look like. And Andrew, I believe, is going to screen share this. This is a page you can see on the website for the conference, and you'll find a place on the website where you see that schedule. As Kelly said, we've moved not just Sunday. We're used to Sunday night worship at this conference being an evening service, but all of them, all these large worship services will be evening services for us. So we'll begin Sunday evening at 7:30 with opening worship. Jessica Tate and Byron Wade are our preacher presider team. Dave Eicher is our service organist, and Larry Jones and Hannah Garrity are the artists for worship. Monday through Thursday morning, what will happen when you tune in, when you dial into the link of the conference or click into the link of the conference, you will come upon a kind of single main channel. And throughout the day, this schedule that we're going through will be flowing through. And as Kelly said, most of these will be live, but all will be recorded. So if you miss something for whatever reason, it will be available to you well into the future afterwards. In addition to this main channel, children's offerings, youth offerings, extra adult offerings are also available on the side, you might say, and anybody in the conference can click onto any offering that happens. So on our main channel, we'll begin the day at 8:30 with yoga, with Krista Wright as our practitioner leading us. We'll then move to morning prayer. Chi, Philip, Ann, and I will lead those. At 10 o'clock, Monday and Wednesday, live worship reflections. This is one of the ways this conference can be interactive with you wherever you are. With Jessica, Byron, David, and Hannah will reflect on the worship that happened the evening before, and also reflect more generally on how we're doing worship in these days. These are all questions that we're facing. Right now, I'm sitting in what has become the chancel of the chapel at Austin Seminary, and probably your chancels are all in different places too. So those are the kinds of things we'll be reflecting on. And as you see, it's for congregations large and small. In a sense, we're all the same size congregation these days. On Tuesday, Thursday at 10 a.m., the Bible study by Susie Park, my colleague here at Austin Seminary. She is amazing. You will love her classes. 11 o'clock, morning masterclass. This will rotate with our different choral conductors, Eric Nelson, Mark Patterson, and Victor Johnson. And these master practitioners and master teachers will be teaching us each morning at 11. At 11:45, these times, by the way, are all Eastern. And of course, they mean different things to you if you're in a different time zone. It's another reason why they're being pre-recorded is such an advantage. At 11:45, a Montreat moment, one of several during the day. What we'd like to do is balance our content workshops and classes with short, light moments from the different locations in Montreat that may let you hear a word of scripture or hear a bit of song, but may also just let you hear the music of the waterfall, the music of the stream, the beauty of the mountains, a familiar face that you would expect to see. So there'll be several of these Montreat moments throughout the day. We come into the afternoon, and at noon, there's a handbell hour with our handbell director, David Harris, who is the director of the Raleigh Ringers in North Carolina. At 1 p.m. for 20, 25 minutes or so, there'll be a short afternoon concert. So whether this is after lunch, during lunch, or pre-lunch for you, you can take a moment, whether you're by your computer or on your phone out for a walk or whatever it may be, and enjoy a musical offering in the middle of the concert day. At 1:30 p.m., Mel Bringle is our Routley lecturer this year. And if you've ever been around Mel Bringle, you know how fantastically brilliant anything is that she does. Singing Here and Hereafter, 1:30 p.m. every day with the Routley lectures. Another Montreat moment at 2:15, followed by Anne and Hannah and the art workshop. Art in the liturgical arc, how we can still be creative even when our worship services are online. That's at 2:30. At 3:15, we get another Montreat moment. And then at 3:30 p.m., Monday through Thursday, Conversations at the Huck. We will have a chance here again to be interactive. All the questions that you may be having or that the conference may raise for you, this is a way we can share practices and draw encouragement and learning from one another, because we're not only talking about where we are, where we've been, we're looking into how we go forward in the future. Conversations at the Huck, bring your ideas, bring your own ice cream. At 4:30, we'll have a second afternoon masterclass rotating through our choral conductors, Eric Nelson, Mark Patterson, and Victor Johnson. And then Monday through Thursday evening, we have an alternation. We've got worship on Sunday, the organ recital on Monday, worship on Tuesday, the hymn festival Wednesday, and worship on Thursday evening. The concluding morning of the conference is Friday, and it will be the same morning schedule for the first three classes, and then the final worship service closing the conference at 11 a.m. that morning. You see here at the bottom, when you yourself go to the website, you can click on the PDF for the youth classes or the children's classes. You're about to hear in a couple of minutes more about those, and you'll get descriptions of those already on the website. Rich.
Thanks, Eric. So you may be wondering at this point how this is all going to happen. And our hope is that it's going to be broadcast from Montreat, from Anderson, from any other place on the campus. So we've partnered with a company, GNTV, who many of you may know of. They're a professional media company that works in APSI and Next and Faith in 3D. PCUSA loves GNTV, and I'm sure you will too. Their technological expertise, their multiple cameras will allow you to join in worship and the workshops with ease and clarity. And again, we assure you all of this will be within the guidelines of the distancing that the state of North Carolina, because of where Montreat is, to keep us all safe. So we'll have that all taken care of and under control.
Friends, as we have been in the hours and the days and the weeks of all of this reimagining and all this creativity, ideas that come and go, and ground that shifts and gets solid and shifts and gets solid again, there have been two hymns in our hymn book, Glory to God, that have continually been poking at me a little bit. And they're side by side. They're the most perfect pairing of hymns side by side. And I was going to read to you excerpts from both. And as we talk about this music conference, I'm actually going to play these and just along with these words. And these just seem to speak to me exactly where we are as we go into this.
Dios está aquí, tan cierto como el aire que respiro, tan cierto como la mañana se levanta, tan cierto como que le canto y me puede oír. God is here today. As certain as the air I breathe, as certain as the morning sun that rises, as certain when I sing you'll hear my song. And the other hymn is by our Rowley lecturer, Mel Bringle. God is calling through the music of sublime and human hearts, through the hymns of earth and angels, and the carols of our hearts. Lift up joy and gift of singing, days and nights our praises bringing. God is calling and we hear. God is calling and we hear.
Thank you, Eric. So as we approach the month of June, mid-June, together for this this historic conference, this is what we do know. We know that God will be glorified. We know that melodies will soar. We know that hearts will be touched and the word will be proclaimed. Prayers will be prayed. Theologically thought-provoking material delivered. Hymns sung. And our great cloud of witnesses will be overjoyed. Thank you all so much, and we will see you in June.
And now I think we're over to Mary Ebish.
That's right. Mary, are you there?
I don't know if we have Mary. But Mary Todd, are you here?
I am here.
Why don't you jump on with me?
Okay.
We're going to talk to you a little bit about the offerings for youth and for children. We realize this is going to be different, and we realize that kids are sitting in front of screens right now. I've talked to lots and lots of you about your questions about what we can offer to them. We are an intergenerational conference, and we feel like we can do that for you. And Mary Ebish is having some technical difficulties, which is why she's not able to be with us at this moment. She asked me to let you, all of you, know what is going to be going on. We are offering 4 classes for children: music, art, choir, and Bible study. They have met, they have talked, all of the descriptions for the classes are on the website. So anything you need to know, go check it out. So this is Mary's message. There are group interactive scheduled sessions that will offer opportunities for corporate music making, play, and community experience we love and treasure with all our PAM worship and music conferences. The clinicians are super excited, they really are, to meet you in a live virtual get to know you session on Sunday before worship. This is on the website. They will weave the conference theme and daily scriptures together in their individual sessions to provide a cohesive and connectional conference for our youngest participants. We'll take some Q&A later if you've got more questions on it. The music will be live. Everything else will be pre-recorded in a way that you can weave it into your daily schedules. Mary Todd, you want to talk about the youth?
Absolutely. Hi, y'all. Mary Todd from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I am looking forward to creating a time for your youth to gather, whether it's virtually or in small groups, to look at the daily scriptures in a new and creative way, explore how these scriptures and the theme, a great cloud of witnesses, informs our faith journeys in such a time as this. I'll be providing short videos exploring the scripture, and you will receive a packet of ideas for conversation and activities for you to use as it applies to your context and group needs. It's my hope that you will have more than enough resources to choose from to format a program that will deepen your experience of this virtual music and worship conference. I trust that God's inspiration in the Spirit and in God's Spirit that this will be a meaningful exploration of Scripture and will help you and your youth discover new ways to discuss Scripture and engage in community together apart. In Exodus 13:18, the story tells us that God led the Israelites by the roundabout way of the wilderness toward the Red Sea. Friends, our time together will not be direct, but will be directed by God. This I trust and I believe, and I look forward to sharing this time with you. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary Todd. At this point, we're going to turn it over to Emily Floyd and Carrie Rushing, and they are going to share with us just some things that they are hopeful for this year at the conference and things they're looking for. So let's turn it over.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Floyd, and I've been asked to talk about some things that are really exciting for this conference for me. So I'll talk about three things. Opportunity is one, and inspiration is another, and the cost is another. So many things have been canceled over the summer, and that's a time that I value each year to get my batteries recharged, to set aside time to encounter colleagues across our denomination and other denominations, to gather new ideas and to be in community. So the fact that so many things have been canceled, I'm excited that this is an opportunity, and it's an opportunity for some who maybe didn't have that opportunity otherwise, to grab this chance to be together, particularly worship being recorded and in the space in Anderson is a huge opportunity for us to gather those ideas and to recharge our batteries. Another thing that I think is really exciting about this opportunity is the combination of recorded sessions and participatory sessions. So take this opportunity if you can. One thing that I'm having difficulty with personally, and maybe many of you are, is the feeling of just coping now with what's in front of me in the next couple of weeks, and all of us sort of facing how we'll do worship and ministry in the coming months. And so getting into a mode of inspiration is kind of challenging when we're just focusing on coping. So I need some help flipping that switch to getting into the inspired mode. And I think that worshiping together, participating in some interactions online, and then hearing from the clinicians will help us to just flip that switch to be inspired. And then thirdly, the cost is just incredible. The fact that it's less than $200 for anyone attending is just huge. And so that breaks a barrier that some of us may have, and I think we'll capture more people, and I'm grateful to Pam for all the thought that's gone behind this.
Absolutely, Emily, all that stuff is very exciting. Additionally, you mentioned the combination of live and recorded content. The flexibility to access all of the content later is a huge thing that I'm excited about. So often when I attend conferences and events, I'm in the moment and I'm inspired by something a clinician says. And 2 days later, I've heard so many other things that I've forgotten that thing I wanted to remember. But with this format, I can go back and I can rework all of those thoughts on my own time, which I really appreciate. Additionally, many people who attend Montreat usually are also teachers and still need continuing education, and you can get those continuing education units through the PAM office. So the conference still does count for CEUs. And finally, this has been mentioned a few times, but it really just can't be diminished how exciting it is that we get to share the Montreat that we love with people all over the country or even all over the world. There are so many people who can't make that pilgrimage that we love so much because of distance, because of physical limitations, because of their own personal obligations, whatever it is. And we get to share that with them this year, which is incredibly special. I've spoken with several colleagues who have been very excited that we're putting the conference virtual because now they can attend and they've never been able to participate before. So to get to share that with people who have never been through those iconic gates of Montreat in person is something that is really touching to me. At this point, y'all probably have a million questions and we've thrown a ton of information at you. And so there are two ways that you can ask questions now, and Andrew and Kelly are going to field those questions. You can either click the hand raise icon, or you can type your question in the chat and Andrew can read it. And so now's the time to ask those questions.
So there have already been some questions, some basic questions that I've helped answer in the chat, but this is a great time to ask questions directly from folks. Oh, we have one already. Excellent. Kim Long. Kim, you are unmuted. Go ahead.
Hi, you guys. It's so good to hear from you and to see you. And I knew to expect good things from you, but I just have to say I'm astounded at what you have done and what you've allowed God to do through you. Just, I see Kelly's pointing. I know how these things work, and really, I'm practically crying because I just think it's really quite extraordinary. The way you're opening yourselves to new things and bringing all of your gifts to bear on, what might have seemed a few weeks ago like creating something out of nothing. Like, oh my God, well, we can't do anything we were planning on doing, and then realizing actually we can, and there are some unexpected gifts and joys in it. So I'm just chiming in to say, well done and thank you, and I can't wait to register.
Oh, thanks, Kim. That means a lot.
Thanks, Kim. Can't wait to see you there.
Yeah.
Okay, and now we're going to move on to, let's see, many questions. I'm not sure who to call on first. Let's go to, let's see, let's go to Susan Simpson. Susan, you are unmuted.
Hi.
Hi. I was already registered and planning to come out and have my plane ticket, and I was going to combine it with a visit to my daughter who lives in North Carolina. I'm coming from Tucson, Arizona.
Yes.
If I'm actually going to be in the vicinity, will there be anything I might be able to experience live and in person at Montreat?
Eric, you want to take that?
Sure, I'll take a stab at that.
We'll do our best.
The answer to that is we don't know fully yet. Our potential presence on campus is subject to, as Kelly said earlier, to state guidelines, to local guidelines, and to what Montreat what the town of Montreat and the Conference Center of Montreat, their guidelines as well. And if there are particular projected phases in North Carolina, and depending on which of those we find ourselves in, that may determine. So I'm not sure we can fully answer that yet, and we will be doing what Montreat tells us we're able to do and all of that. So we just don't know enough yet to answer that, and we'll have to just see how that plays out a little as we get a little closer.
Okay.
Yeah, as I said earlier, the main thing is safety. So
Sure.
we will work with that as best we can.
Montreat is doing a fantastic job of updating their website with that information. So I'd say check that daily.
Okay. Great, thank you.
You bet.
Okay, and oh my goodness, we have so many questions. We're going to pick another person. We'll go with Kay Keeler. Kay, you are unmuted. Go ahead.
Hi, Kay.
Hey, how are you, Kelly?
We're great. How are you? Better with you
Y'all
here.
have just kind of blown me out of the water. Eric, two of my favorite songs. So
Excellent.
if that is a sample of what we'll be receiving. Rich, Lillian has been praying for you every day. She said your Rich was going to be the head person, and she was so hoping to help with the youth. And so I guess we'll be doing it Beaufort side. But
That's right.
Anyway,
That's right.
We're really excited. We have in our church summer programs we call summer days. And the children just come like every other week or so. So I see if we can't do it that week together or separate homes, we'll definitely be using the recorded pieces throughout the rest of the summer and in the fall when we can all be together, hopefully. So this has been great, and I'm so glad that y'all are continuing it and just didn't drop it. My one question is, we do bring a lot of chaperones, so will they need to pay the extra money? How can can chaperones still be with youth programs and children's programs so we can carry that on? Does that make
I'll
sense?
say this. Yes, it's a great question, and the board voted on that, and I'm going to say this as succinctly as I can. If you are currently registered for the conference, you are ready to go. Does that help?
That helps a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
So we can either, but then if we want to attend the other, because we've been texting while y'all have been talking too, and the adults are excited and want to take part in the adult portions. So then we'll need to pay the $175 for them to do that. No.
Once you are registered, you are good to go. You're going to get a link. Every conferee will get a link, and that link will send you to the conference website. On the conference website will be the link to the live stream. It will also give you all the links to the recorded seminars, and it will give you a link to the children's schedule and the children's area and the youth area. So that's the other nice thing is that, if you registered as an adult and you want to check out what the youth offerings are, they're there. If you want to check out what's going on in the children's section, or you want to watch Ann McNair do the pre-recorded choir rehearsal, go for it. It's all going to be there and it's all going to be recorded. Same thing with youth and children. We want you to be able to go watch that live stream of worship in the morning, in the evening, or morning prayer in the morning. So it's going to be fluid.
Excellent. So when we bring on a whole lot more people, because there may be more coming on, we'll just add them to the registration. Is that correct?
That's right. We've got the registration link is up. It's been modified. It is very simple now. You just go ahead and register, click a couple buttons, your name, and that's it. No picking classes, no nothing.
Okay.
Easy.
Sounds
Thanks,
great.
Kay.
Thank y'all so much, and we'll be praying every day still for y'all as you go through all of this.
Thanks, Kay.
Okay. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Okay, and now, so I'm going to turn to some of the written questions here because we've had several of these pop up. We'll just start at the top. This is the first one we received from Marion Taylor, and this is a good question. Should we cancel our lodging even if we're still going to attend the conference?
If you're not going to be in Montreat, you want to cancel that lodging. And in the email that was sent out to all the registrants, it gave you some information. Montreat is generously going to allow you to cancel or roll your registration forward to next year. You won't lose your house. You won't lose your space. And Graybeard is doing the same thing. They will recover an $89 booking fee, but they are allowing you to book that same unit next year.
Very good. And Janet Langhorst has a question. She says, will the content of the 2 master classes from the choral clinicians, will both of those be the same every day, or will they be different every day?
Hi, Janet. Good to hear from you. The content will be different each one. So, for example, not only will the morning, afternoon be different in any given day, those will probably be 2 different conductors, and then there'll still be more in the on the side option. So none of those repeat when they initially show up, and then they'll all be backlogged in the ones that we have recorded.
All right, and then we have some questions that are related to youth and children events, and there's one particular one from Carl Zinsmeister. Please review how youth and children will be engaged with music throughout their day.
I can take that one. How they will be engaged
with music? Yes.
Yes. So you know, the intergenerational nature of this conference, that there are specific blocks where they will be able to go to. Of course, everything that hopefully will happen live in the auditorium, they will be also able to go to, you know, starting with worship and anything that happens that may not be necessarily geared to an age group, but they are absolutely most welcome to participate in that. Mary Ebish and Mary Todd, they have really worked hard in the past couple weeks to put together offerings for children along with Chandler and some other clinicians in it, and it should be pretty well balanced. You know, we try to do that anyway with the conference that we had planned for, and now this new way of doing things. But they will absolutely be engaged. The last thing I'll say is that Ann McNear will be offering a song a day, sing a new song, and that's going to be a time when you learn. Ann will be presenting one song per day and going into it in a pretty detailed and fun way and manner. So hope Carl, that answers your question.
Ann McNair has even written a song just for this conference for the children.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's just kind of wonderful. And all of those children teachers have collaborated on pulling common threads through things. It's
really wonderful.
I told them I wanted to sign up for all the children's classes myself.
Oh my gosh. Mary is offering live classes every day. She will teach as many children as she can live. So we will put children in groups. We will not have any more than 20 children in each class, and she will play music and teach the music for 5 days.
Okay, so now we have a question from Martha Morkish, a previous Routley lecturer for our conference. She asked, if we are registered for week 2 of the conference, do we need to do anything to change our registration to the previous week?
Not at all. You are ready to go. We hope, many of us have had our summers turned upside down with our schedule. So everybody is, like I said, if you're registered for week 1 or week 2, you are registered for the virtual conference June 21st through the 26th. If you really are not available that first week, we will record all of it, and everything will be available in schedule format for you to access when you can access it. Does that help?
I think that clarifies. And let's see.
Hi, Martha.
So there's another question. For the art workshop, will we get a list of materials to have on hand?
That's a great question, and we can easily find out the answer to that. I think Ann and Hannah are in the process of as we're doing with all aspects of this, there's some reimagining how that that class will happen, and part of that class I think will be art materials like this, and even digital art materials. And I would encourage you all, if you haven't yet, to watch yesterday's Montreat Worship and Music Now, because Anne and Hannah were the guests on that, and they were talking about this very question. So they can probably answer that a little more directly in that conversation than I can. But we will make sure that if there are any art materials that you all need to have prepared, we'll let you know that well in advance. For sure.
And those registered for the children's art classes, it's exactly the same. We'll let you know of those materials in advance as well. So.
All right. And here's another good practical question. Is there a registration deadline? And will there be a limit to the number of registrants? I'll answer that second one. I hope not.
So do we. It's an online conference. What we can tell you is if you want the conference book, which we plan to mail to you because we like that book, you need to register by May 15th. We have to put that print order in. Any registrations after that, you can register up to the day of the conference. You can register during the conference. You'll get the PDF of the book instead, which is fine. But that's the only date you need to know is May 15th for the hard copy.
You'll get the physical book because that means something. And the good news this year is you will get that physical book and you will not have to fill out a locator card because you know where you are. Just enjoy the book.
That's awesome.
So moving down the list, I'm just scrolling through these. Actually, I'll switch over and we'll go to these wonderful folks who've been very patient with their hands raised. Rachel Kaufman, you are unmuted. Go ahead. You'll have to unmute yourself.
All righty. Actually, this is not Rachel Kaufman. This is Mr. Rachel Kaufman, Carl. We go as a family more for the music and the singing and the learning than trying to find worship things that we can take back to our church. We're lay members, lay choir members, so that is really the big draw, to be able to be in community with a whole bunch of singers and learning all that. I'm interested in learning if you have any more sense of what the musical side, to replace the choir rehearsals and the performances and that aspect of the conference is possible, what it's going to look like.
That's a great question, and it's the question we've all been asking ourselves the past several months, right? And because you're right, there's nothing that really replaces that surge that happens in the auditorium when all those voices go. And what we're learning in general these days, certainly what I'm learning, is ways we explore what it means to engage in congregational song. And it's in some ways a strange experience to sing on your own from home, but I will say I have found it to be intriguing. The other night we had a virtual choir hymn sing here in Austin, the church that my wife and I sing in the choir, and somebody else was playing, and Mary and I were sitting here singing, and it was kind of lovely to sing in two parts, even though the bass parts that I can play with my feet on the organ, I don't seem to be able to sing very easily in my voice. And so I think we are still figuring out some of how that'll work. And that's where Dave Eicher, our magnificent service organist, is going to be our principal leader. And so my guess is it'll be a combination of instrumental and some vocal leadership that will come from the conference broadcast. And it gives a new meaning to how we join our voices, even when we're separate. And we're separate in some ways, but not in others. So it's a new way to think about what makes a song congregational, and we are going to do our best to make that have as much vitality and color and richness as we can. And And we'll look forward to knowing that your voice is there, even if we can't hear it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Oh, sorry for the silence. I was talking away. I didn't have my mic turned on. Uh, we're going to move on. We have a question from Sylvia Murphy. Sylvia, you are unmuted. You'll need to unmute yourself.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
You're good.
Okay. Can you tell me where we need to go? Is there a website we go to or a telephone to modify our registration, to add to it or take away from it, or what do we do about that?
Yes, on the PAM website, there is, on the registration page, there is a link that talks about how to modify your registration.
Well, I was just there, and it did not seem to me to be that. Hold on, let me try to get back to it.
And there's
It's PAM.
Presby Music, PRESBY music.org. And you all current registered conferees should have gotten an email at 1 o'clock Eastern today. And there is a link in that email as well that will get you where you need to go. That might be the easiest way.
I did get one, and I guess it was
Perfect.
an oversight. So when we go to the presmusic.org, there is what kind of a link on there? I see about town halls, forums, statements, becoming a member of PAM. I don't see anything about
there's a worship and music conference.
I don't. I'm sorry. I simply do not see.
You want to jump in with us?
I will be happy to jump in. I will be happy to jump in. Yes, I think the best. I think the best thing to do is to check for that email, because the link will be very obvious in the email. If you are on the PAM website, there will be a gray bar around the. Actually, I'll just pull up the website and show you. Let's do this.
I'm at presbymusic.org. I don't see what y'all are talking about.
Give me just one moment, and I will show you exactly. I'll show you my screen.
Okay, great.
There we are. Okay, so here is the PAM website, and if you will click right here on Worship and Music Conference.
Probably my problem is I am on my telephone, and that's probably causing problems. But if I just go to presmusic.org on my computer, I should see it.
Yes, you should. Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry to take up your time. Thank you so much.
No problem at all. It is always good to hear from a fellow North Carolinian. I would know that accent anywhere.
and that question is a good reminder for us to say to you, although you may have read this already, that we will be providing all kinds of advanced training and helps as we get close to this. How you log in, what you do, what you click on, how this will work, how to move through the schedule, how to access things. So as we get closer, if you are worried about the technological side, fear not. We will make it doable. And let me say also, I just had a text message from Ann Jones, our artist, related to the previous question about art materials. She says yes, they will provide a list, and we will send it out to you.
Great.
Okay. There is a question about, let's see, actually, we have one more person with their hand raised. Tom Gurney. Tom, you are unmuted. If you'll unmute yourself, sir.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
Tom, are you there?
I don't hear him.
Well, in that case, I'll move on to some of the written questions here. Let's see. Here's a question. Since there are no youth choir options, is it okay for younger youth to be able to attend a children's choir rehearsal?
That's a really good question. I would say, so there are two kinds of children's choir rehearsals. You might say there's one are the sessions that Ann McNair is going to lead, which are pre-recorded with one song a day being taught, and anybody can go to those because it's a great way if you just want to observe a wonderful director teaching and engaging. The other classes are Mary Ebish's classes which are live, and she is putting a limit on the number of children in those so that those are on Zoom, and so that the Brady Bunch squares don't become so small that she can't see the children. There is a limit on those. So that may be a question we will clarify as we get closer. I know there is, we hope to prioritize the presence of children in those classes just so the kids have the fullest experience, but that may not preclude others just depending on the numbers. So I would say, Kelly, unless you have more wisdom than me on this, which you may, I would say stand by on that question. And as we get closer to where we're dispersing children into the groups, because we'll have to assign children to those classes being live based on things like time zones. And we can know that a little more, as we get closer to June and know the numbers more fully, we'll know a better answer to that.
Yeah, good question. Thank you.
Okay, a popular question. I'm going to kind of combine two questions here. Are there going to be reading sessions? Second part of that question, and whether there are or not, are we going to get a choral pack?
The answer to reading sessions, yes, they're going to be. What we're doing is working with Pepper. You all know if you go to Montreat, Pepper sets up the music store in the Moore Center. We are working with Pepper for the reading sessions to be digital, and the kind of thing where you are sent both a list of PDFs of scores for preview purposes only, of course, and also demo recordings. Sometimes those are so integrated that you can follow a score. The video will move through the score as the demo recording plays. But and for the different age groups, those will be compiled by Pepper, and those will be links that you'll receive when you receive other conference materials, and links on the conference website as well. In terms of choral packet, we're not sure about that yet. It really kind of depends on what the content of the master classes is going to be. We're letting our conductors take the lead on what is fueling and energizing them right now in terms of what they teach. And should that be something that might involve music that we need to figure out a choral packet, then we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there. But at the moment, we don't know fully because that conversation with conductors is still ongoing.
Okay, moving on. Scroll through here and find some more questions. Let's see. Oh, a question from Joyce Thompson.
Hi, Joyce.
Joyce, yes, Joyce asked, what will be happening about handbells? What will the handbell session with Dave Harris look like? I will also note Dave Harris, I think, is here.
If Dave Harris is here and wants to answer this question directly, I would say that we'll gladly kick it over to him.
So David, I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. That is a work in progress. To be absolutely totally honest, just learning about this today. So we will figure that out.
All right.
Eric, anything you want to add?
I don't. One of the things we've invited all the conductors to do in these ways is all of us who direct choirs or ensembles have just been tossed into having no choirs or ensembles present. And so we're figuring out how to do that. So again, I would just say we've invited all the conductors to teach to us out of their experiences in this time, and to teach in ways that let this medium really bloom for people, and maximize what they can show us. So as we know more of that, we may be able to update the conference website with more details about what that will look like. But just know for this moment that we're 100% committed to those master classes being there, so that we do the best thing we can do in this space.
All right, moving through. Let's see, do we have any more hands raised? Ann Jones, our conference artist, would like to ask a question or say something, I'm sure. Let's see. Ann, you are unmuted. If you will unmute yourself.
Can you hear me okay?
Can hear you loud and clear.
This is a question related to a different kind of art, and this is about handbells. Our church in Sumner, Mississippi is interested in starting a handbell choir. We've even gone to the extent of finding some handbells to borrow for the year. And we're asking another church to join us. So I wondered if Dave would maybe consider, as he thinks about his new design and plan, that would be a question I had. Will there be some help for those who want to begin a whole new endeavor? And we don't know the old endeavor, so anything he does will be monumental for us.
And you know, oh, sorry, if I could pipe in, you know, I'm sure everyone here has seen the Raleigh Ringers perform. If you haven't, I would encourage you to visit YouTube. This is the ensemble that Dave directs. I'm always amazed at how creative and fun and exciting that ensemble is. And just from sharing my own personal opinion, if Dave is going to be in charge of sharing and bringing an offering of handbells, it's going to be fun, no matter what, even if we don't know what it is right now. I'm all in for it. Let's go to, let's see. Some of these questions I see have already been answered, which is good. Here is a practical question. This person says, some in our group will be able to donate the rest of our registration, but some will not. How do we go about requesting a refund if we need one?
Again, in that link in the email that all registrants received today, there is a link for how you can modify your registration, and the questions in that form will be able to address all of the questions that you've just asked. How to go about refunding or donating or applying, everything is in that form.
All right. And we have Kathleen. Kathleen, I'm not going to try and pronounce your last name because I'm going to mess it up. But I'm going to unmute you. If you'll unmute yourself, you can go ahead.
It's just Simskis, but thank you for not worrying about it. Hi from Chapel Hill. I just wanted to say thank you to Kelly and Eric and Rich and everyone else who has chimed in today for your organization. I know kind of firsthand from my own work how difficult this is with all the uncertainty and the speed at which these decisions are having to be made. And so I just wanted to say a quick shout out and thank you for all your hard work there. And this was to be my first year at Worship and Music. So I'm feeling some mourning, regretting that this is the way this is happening, but I'm also just excited to kind of dive in and be here with you. So thank you for that.
In 20 years, you will look back and say, wow, my first year was that, and what a felt.
Year.
Right.
Yes.
That's right.
That year.
Thanks, Kathleen.
Of course.
All right. I think, okay, so these remaining questions I think have been addressed, or they're ones that that may need to follow up with email. So I think we'll close the floor for questions at the moment and go back to you guys.
All right.
I would say this, at this point, we realize you've gotten a lot of information thrown at you in the last couple of hours, and it's a lot to process. And so we ask, go ahead, go back to your churches, go back to your families, and process what you need to process. We are offering the option of another town hall on May 8th, next Friday. I'm happy to host it, and I'm happy to sit here and take questions for as long as you need to make sure that you have the information you need to get to make the decisions you need to make. The other thing I would ask of all of you, the 164 of you that are still here, and those of you who are going to watch it, is help us get the word out. This is different, and I've listened to the last hour, and I hear there are lots and lots of opportunities. And so if you've got friends or colleagues or choir members who have not been able to participate in this conference because of work and it just doesn't fit, and we always go to the beach that week, and I can't fly, and I don't have that kind of CE money, which is very real, we ask that you reach out to them and invite them to participate in this new opportunity. We're looking at this as a chance to bring folks to this conference that may not have otherwise had the opportunity, and we're taking it as a gift, like I said. So if you can help us, we would so appreciate the help you could bring to PAM. Thanks.
Thank you all for being here today. We were so encouraged by so many people showing up and staying here, and your questions are all such wonderful indications of interest and how much you love this conference and this community. It's as you all know, it's more than a conference. It is a congregation. It's a community of colleagues and friends, and it is it's a remarkable thing. And it probably for a lot of you, it was the way you discovered all kinds of things, and it was maybe the way you discovered Montreat and discovered much. It would be impossible for me, I know, to overestimate what this conference and these people have this has just shaped me since 1991, and hopefully many years. And so it's we grieve what can't happen that we were looking forward to, and we all know that in so many ways in this time. It's extraordinary, but we find a kind of wondrous energy, and what we've uncovered stuff that might not have happened too, and there's some joy in that, and some gift, and we know that God wastes nothing, and that things don't return empty, and so we look forward to that this summer.
I think we can call on Joe and David to close all of us in prayer.
Thanks again to everybody for being here. We look forward to being together in whatever way that's possible over these days. So we'll end our time together by singing the remainder of God Be the Love to Search and Keep Me. We'll sing stanzas 3, 4, and 5, and you'll see it there on your screen.
Bright is the sun and glow of moonlight, flashing on lightning strength of wind. Depth of the sea to soil of planet, Christ Christ surround me. Oh, Christ surround me. Walking behind to end my journey, going ahead to light thy way. From beneath, above, and always, oh Christ surround me. Oh Christ surround me. Christ in the eyes of all who see me, Christ in the ears that hear my voice, Christ in the hearts of all who know me. Oh, surround me. Oh, Christ, surround me.
We'd like to thank you all for being here today, for asking great questions, uh, and for supporting Pam during this time. We hope you will share this information, our website, with as many folks as you can, and we look forward to being together, however that may be, in June at our new online conference. Thanks, friends. We'll be in touch.